So in the clips you're seeing over my face right now was me shooting Leo yesterday. Or, well, shooting Leo. That sounds really strange. But I was shooting the review for this yesterday night, and it was just amazing. I finished it, watched it all the way through yesterday. And it was just really great. Like, shout out to the entire cast over there, the voice acting cast. Shout out to Adam Sandler, Bill Burr, his daughters. I think, yeah, his wife was even in it. Just shout out to everyone that worked on this, the animators, everything. I want to give my whole shout out. I want to say one more thing too is if you have not seen it, like, watch it with your kids. It's on Netflix. Like, if you're an adult, like, watch it with your kids. I so am for this animation for a number of things. So why I looked like I was damn near off of the verge of tears in it is just because in today's day and age, with a lot of politics being thrown in forms of media and everything being infected with this agenda that's becoming more and more apparent to the people who are sleeping to it day by day, I feel like this, like, kid animation just it encapsulates what life in the simplest form should be about. There was a lot that they hit on the nail very fast in under 2 hours, man. It was sick. Like, I don't even know what I want to touch on first. I thought the pacing was great, and literally coming from somebody like me who oh my gosh, I'm hearing that joke that I've heard like one time, like, not a joke, but that saying where they say, oh, everyone's a critic sort of thing. But like, I am harsh when it comes to critiquing things sometimes. Sometimes I sound like a hater. But I take that and like walk in stride with being a full hater sometimes on stuff. It's just, I don't know. There's very little things that, besides when it comes to like, it just depends. I have a bias on certain things sometimes, and I try not to have a bias. Sometimes it's hard. It's hard sometimes not to have a bias with certain things. But usually when it comes to a lot of things happening in media right now, and I just want to say, like, to not give too much focus to it, but basically this whole inclusivity movement and everything going like that, I walked into this not even knowing that this was Adam Sandler's project. I think it says it when you start the movie and everything, but I thought first, I think when I seen his name, I thought it was just like he was voice acting in it, or he played. I literally went into this thinking that he was Leo, but I'm pretty sure if I went to it, I think Bill Burr plays Leo, and I think Adam plays the turtle. If I'm correct, I could be wrong. Let me see. I have it up right here. Yeah, the turtle. Wait, a snarky turtle voiced by comedian Bill. Okay, so Adam Sandler is Leo. Okay. Something had the information wrong, but right. So what's beautiful about this is actually in one of the clips I had my roommate, and she was saying that she thinks I said it best about what this whole thing was about. And one thing I want to say that I think this whole thing was about was Adam leaving his proper mark on the world. I see, now I'm confused because the information is flipping back and forth, and it's messing with me because I heard Bill Burr was Leo, but I don't know if Bill Burr I haven't watched a lot of Bill Burr's comedy, but I heard he's funny, but I don't know. Oh my gosh, I feel like there's going to be an insult if they ever seen this video. But no, I seen something while I was watching that made me think, like, I looked it up. I was like, wait, who voiced Leo? Because it was obvious to me that Adam Sandler voiced Leo, because I saw this whole project as almost, as it gets to the middle of the film, of the animation, that this is Adam's almost like leaving his mark on the world. And Jesus, I took 2 to 3 minutes to try to get that out. But basically, what I'm saying is, I don't know why it confused. Like, it did actually mess me up and confuse me when I seen that Bill Burr was the lizard, because I was like, wait, then it kind of throws what I was thinking down the drain. But now that this is saying that actually Sandler is Leo, it makes sense, because when you go through this, when you're going through this experience that they created, it's freaking awesome. Like, it feels like it's literally Adam Sandler dealing with his mortality, but in, of course, a comedic musical way. But like, it almost sounds like he's content with getting older, and now his mission has become to leave a good message on the world. And I feel like that's literally what this whole thing is. Just, I don't know why I'm like I definitely feel like I'm over explaining myself. See, I related with the girl in the beginning, the first one who takes Leo. I related with her with being the talkative child, man. I like, not in school necessarily, but man, I was so self-aware. So, and still super self-aware now, but dude, I think this was definitely Adam Sandler's way of like leaving his mark, and also showing a part of him on how he's dealing with age, because he has daughters, he has a wife, he's getting up there, he's entertained people forever. So it's like, this is almost like him leaving like a literal heartwarming message to the world, in a part of him in this, with all of his works of art, or all the things he's starting to, like, I'm looking up right here, like Grown Ups, Happy Gilmore. But it was really cool to me, because I really went into this thinking nothing is safe nowadays. No form is like, my specialty and what I've been breaking down forever was video games, and just talking about games and liking games, and just that form of escapism, right? But when I started to see, like, taking it off a little bit for a minute, I'm just going to touch on this slightly, because I know people are probably sick of hearing it, but like, all the race swapping and everything going on, and all the just things getting injected into things that are just supposed to have messages at the end of the day, that's it. I don't want to speak on that and bring too much attention to it, because I truly believe what you pay attention to, you feed energy to. Like, I'll always live by that, because I've always seen it happen to people, and everyone, I always tell them, like, yo, you got to stop feeding certain things energy. You got to, like, walk away from this fight, walk away from the battle. Like, you can't lose a game you don't ever play or begin, or are intent on playing, whatever. I'm trying to like throw philosophy in here right now and throw my little things, but it's such a drag to talk about, that it's actually like creating a conundrum in my head, because that's what makes Leo so beautiful. And that's why, like, in the beginning, I literally, in those clips, I looked like I was about to cry, because I did shed a tear, 2 tears throughout the whole thing at a couple of the moments, because I don't know, him and the writers did a beautiful job, or just everyone did such a beautiful job on the pacing, to me, on going through the kids' stories too. And like, even they didn't get through every single kid in the class, but they did some of them in a way, like, oh man, it just was good. I don't know how, it was good. It was good to me. I said I didn't want to give it a straight 10 out of 10, because that would be like, okay, a 10 out of 10 is just 100% perfect. So I'll give it like a 9. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. But it's genuinely, it shows that, it's so crazy. I'm like at a loss for words, because it was like, it really does encapsulate what like, it's like this. It's literally like Leo, through all of his experience, he basically teaches every single kid to accept their flaws, accept themselves for who they are, in a very, like, in a comical some point. Like, get this. I only cringed at one moment, and it was the moment where he didn't want the girl to cry, where she was like on the bed crying, and like, he was like, he was like, wah, that shit, and then he said, and then she even how they did the writing after that was so fire, where he was like trying to lull her to sleep, and she said, my grandpa did that too. That shit hit me, bro. Like, oh man, that was the waterworks with that girl, who was like she was like calm, but she had a big brain, and just, oh man, it's just that one hit. But I'm telling you, all like him just teaching the kids to to accept themselves. You know, everyone's got insecurities and these things that they got to overcome. And even the teacher, when it got back to the teacher, that was like such a big message too, where the teacher was older now, and like it was good. It was like a good reflection of just human beings, the nature of trauma and everything. And it was done in such a simplified way. Like, you know, like with the rich girl, it was like literally the opposite. And it was just cool. It was just really, really, really cool. And oh my gosh, the little Flo cameo in the Guy Fieri picture frames. There was the animation I could talk about forever, but to just knock off the main story, because that's like the biggest thing in the messages, is I really do feel like he was paying this sort of homage to the life he's lived. You know, it says, I don't know how accurate anything on the internet is, but it says he's 57 years old. So immediately when I was watching it and heard that he, you know, he's the mastermind behind this project with everyone else, is that this was definitely his, like, something he wanted to get off his list. And maybe not, maybe I'm completely wrong, it's completely opposite, but it felt like that. It felt like this was like almost like Adam Sandler making this for his daughters, but I don't know how old his daughters are, but it was like him making, you know, I see them in the voice acting cast, but it's like he was making this for them, but also just like, I don't know. That's what it is. It's like I think the world is a bit brighter with really like good dads out there, and I feel like this was made for like legit. It was made for parents almost to remember that their kids are kids, because the substitute teacher is what I want to talk about when I started getting into trauma and everything. Is the way the substitute teacher was acting and the way she behaved, and you can see this with all the kids too, the reason for their behavior, but the way the substitute teacher acted and like trying to get results and progress and all this, you know, she was self-aware to a degree too, but she was like stubborn and hard-headed with, you know, not being able to be fixed. But even Leo got through to her, and oh my gosh, I'm realizing how Leo's like this Jesus figure, a Jesus lizard. But the prophet Leo. But she, you know, they went back through her past, like when a teacher made her feel good, and like she looked up to that teacher and basically got to the root core of her back when she was a kid. And where was that change from her going from kid to adult that made her this really, you know? And I thought it was such is it like a beautiful irony, bro? I feel like I'm just making up things now, but like how she ended up becoming the kindergartner teacher at the end. I felt like just it was genius. Like all of the things, the little things they did in the animation with the right, just everything was just paced well, done well. Like, oh my gosh, dude, I want to talk about the animation next, but I really want to make sure I'm knocking out all the storylines and stuff. It was just like they did really well with the stereotypes of the kids, but each kid is going through something. The whole just don't judge a book by its cover. All the little messages in here that are the cliche messages, you know, we all know. But I really feel like, you know, when you say something like, oh, these are all the cliche messages we all know and love, it's that, yeah, we know them, but nobody embodies them, because most of these things are literally that simple. And for me, that's what it spoke to. It was honestly like getting kids to accept themselves really young and understand that, hey, you're normal. Everybody has something different. You know, these are the cards you're dealt, and you feel like this way, and you're valid in how you feel, but it's in you. The power to overcome these things is in you. Even with the teacher, it's like, yo, you've been holding on to this for so long. Like, you think it, like most people in their adult day and age now, a lot of the ways and behaviors and the way they act is like environments and things that come from their parents. It's like the generational trauma. And it was like, even she had to get with the time. But even after the, you know, someone like Leo, some animal, someone, but even though like an animal like Leo could come and give her the message, her ego still got the best of her after, and she still wanted to take credit for all the work that he did, which, and it played on that too. That's why I said it had such great messages, because then, he's that guy. He's just trying to make, he's trying to, in the best way for him, he was trying to be there for everyone. And that even spoke on the message of spreading yourself too thin, because he was caring for all the kids, but he went about it in the disingenuous way he did it, was telling all the kids that you're the only one that knows I talk. But it's still, it had like, it was literally like kind of that, yes, he was lying to each kid, but still you see the outcome at the end. It was literally everything came back together in a whole happy ending. And that's why I say the writing was done well, because it was like they actually made sensible kids. Like they didn't make them like in media. Sometimes, you know what I notice? It's like the writing does not stick to each person's character. Like in more complex forms of entertainment, it's like they actually were like, yeah, you lied, but you helped all of us, so we're not mad. Like, it's that simple. And it's weird that I'm saying this about a literal like kids comedy, but that's what's funny about it, is like, why did they get everything in this so right? And it feels like a lot of things coming out now get it so wrong. Like and when that part happened, realistically to me, I was like, yeah, none of them should really be mad at him. They should be mad at first, but they would come around. And it did exactly what my expectations were and beyond. And even the teacher, like pulled that scummy move, but she came around. She noticed like she shouldn't have done that. Even his turtle friend. Oh, which I should have said the spoiler warning. I'll put like a spoiler warning. But yeah, I'll put it in the beginning, but I want to say that too. It's just like, even his best friend threw him under the bus, that he was talking to multiple of the kids. And though even his best friend came around, because he had that character arc. It was short, but you could see it through how the animation was just presented. It was so beautiful. Like you could see little in like his, what the fuck, turtle mannerisms. You could see how he was jealous of his friend. Like kept saying like, why do they like you so much? What are you doing? Oh, like started piecing it together. You're talking to them, blah, blah, blah. And then he ended up throwing him under the bus when he exposed him in front of the kids. But then it was like, even he came around and was like, you know what? I was wrong for doing that. I want to save my best friend, blah, blah, blah. And it was just, they did the character arcs so well in a short amount of time. It was just done really good. The animation, the voice acting, everything else, to sum it up in the best way I could like sum it up, is the animation had so many little things that was so cool. Like, and I'm also actually, I noticed while I'm speaking that I've actually already done a good job of really not telling you too much of what truly happens in the movie. So still, if you're at this point and haven't seen it, go watch it. But another really cool thing they did with the animation was the subtle details. There was a part that was so beautiful where he was jumping down the yearbook to like I guess like on the page. It became part of the musical. This part was with the teacher. And he was jumping from the frames of the pictures of the people in the past yearbook with the teacher. And that was done so cool. And I love moments like that in animation and other things where it like almost like breaks the fourth wall of their own universe. Another trippy thing was the rich dad and his musical part, and the TikTok clocks. Because I wanted, or the stopwatches, because I was like, wait, the stopwatches are alive? Hold on. So in this universe, this is like a crossover between Night of the Museum, Toy Story, and everything. And in this reality, it's just normal, like animals talk. So if there was ever a sequel or a branch into something else, it'd be so cool. Like if they connected the universes. But what was cool, another moment that was really cool to me was when, I think it was when the substitute teacher first came, and the squirrel poster, like I think she slammed the textbooks, and the squirrel poster on the wall like reacted and looked, and that is funny. I love things like that in animation, because it's those little small details that make something just way better. There's just like show you that there's a lot of passion put into it. So the animators did their job, for sure. And the voice acting cast, amazing. Nobody was like, I would say nobody to me was annoying. Which, like I feel like in some works of media, the voice actors either overperform, underperform, do some weird shit. I don't know. Like I said, I'm being really, really picky on that, but no, everyone did their job. Like everyone. I think it was so fire. It's just, I can't say anymore. Like the jokes landed, and like I said, there was only one true cringy moment to me in it, and it was the moment where the girl was crying on the bed. Like I can literally remember it because it was where the girl was crying on the bed, and he was like annoyed at her crying and said, "Oh, please don't cry." Like and like they like stretched the joke just a tad bit long. But again, that's me being picky. Like, but that whole the whole premise of that part, like the musical focused on her, but that little moment where it focused too much on her crying was a bit annoying. But then, like I said, it came back when she literally said her grandpa did the same thing. Like, you're just trying to make me feel better, and then it was the whole boo-hoo thing, and it was just like, damn, it just hit again. And I was like, fuck, they did do good, man. I can't even be mad at this. So yeah, it was done well. I thought the little history fair 2 part where they all dressed up as like important people from periods of time was done really well. That they the kids combined the person from the historical period that they were mimicking or cosplaying, and then added in what they overcame from the teachings of Leo. The teachings of Leo. Oh my gosh, we're making him we're deifying the fucking lizard. But it was good. It was good. They did well. And I think that's all I really have to say on it. Another thing, I'm glad. I don't know if there was any what is it? I don't know if there was any what you call it, any inserts in it. I was actually heavy looking for it to just be that guy. I was looking for the political stuff. I said, "Oh, Spider-Man, where's the?" I was saying, "Where's the BLM flags? I was looking for it, and it was funny, and I was doing it because it's like, it's almost like this proves right here that you don't have to include any of that shit, and everyone will feel welcome. Like, I felt so good watching that. It made me really reflect my own childhood. The girl and her grandpa part, that girl I related to so much, and the other girl who was the talkative one, I related with them so much, bro. And that's where the feels hit me, man. It hit me so. And I the Everglades, and I can just talk about this forever. Like the alligator part, the animals, Leo freezing up multiple times from just being scared. My roommate and I started to ask if lizards actually do that, or like the fact that he didn't get to do his mating dance, and then the first. Actually, what I thought was beautiful about the writing too is I want to like say the connections and synchronicities they did within the writing, where he was showing his friend the turtle. I forgot the turtle's name. What was the turtle's name? Jeez. I can't even remember the turtle's name, but his turtle best friend, he was telling him like he didn't even like, did he waste his life because he didn't even get to like do the mating dance to someone from his kind, right? And there's another scene where it goes to where the turtle mistakes him for a chameleon, because he tells him, when the kids take you to your home, just remember to like blend in with anything around you. And he said, I'm not a chameleon. I think he's an iguana, right? But he goes, I'm not a chameleon. And that had me dying laughing. And then when it got to the scene where he did his mating dance, I don't remember if it was before or after that scene where his turtle best friend mistaked him for a chameleon. But then it got to the part where the teacher left him in the Everglades and he runs into a female chameleon, but it looks like an iguana because they like look the same. and he puffs out his chest and starts doing the fucking mating dance, and then she goes invisible. And I thought that was such a cool callback to both of those moments. The fact that he's not a chameleon, and the fact that the first lizard like him that he runs into, he thinks is an iguana. I'm assuming he is, but it's a chameleon. That was such a cool, like, oh man, they did it justice. And yeah, and I think that's like my final thing, because I could honestly go on and talk about the animation forever. The animation was done really well to me. That's the funniest thing I've seen, but I'm going to leave it out of this because, I don't want to get too into that. I cursed a couple times, and, YouTube, and I don't know if there's any kids watching this, but, yeah, they, what is it? I just seen Click pop up, and that was one of the funniest things I've seen from Adam Sandler. And don't look that up if you're a kid, but at least there's only one scene I remember from Click. That is probably the scene I shouldn't remember, but I know I watched that way too young. I was shown it way too young, man. Or was I, man? I guess that made me where I am now. But anyways, yeah, I honestly, it was cool. Like I said, to wrap up the whole thing and talk about it, the animators did a literal great job. It was like a pleasure to watch, and the little Easter eggs in the whole thing, like flow, man. And there were some other weird synchronicities with like personal things. Well, I'm not gonna explain it, but they did really well. And like I said, I think this was Adam Sandler. At least my interpretation of it was, it's Adam Sandler's like paying like this homage to his girls when they were younger, because I just seen a post now that said they're all grown up. I don't know, but like when they were younger, or as they will be going up through life, and then of course the bigger message for everyone else, that it's just, remember, for the teacher, it's like, remember, we were kids once, we have these things. And to kids coming up, remember, you got insecurities, you got these things, but you're strong, you can overcome it. And again, like I said, they did it in the best way without having they're literally, with the Easter eggs that were in it, it was just focusing on stereotypes. Like, they had the boy from New York, they had that transferred over from New York, they had, the black kid who was like funny, but he was like hiding his real voice. They, I'm not going to spoil all the kids, but they just had each type of stereotype that I literally feel like I've run into too. So they hit it on all the nail. There's probably, there's the gray area for different mixes of personalities and stuff, but overall they hit it. From the bully to the most talkative one, to the teachers, it's just done really cool. The gym teacher, man, that whole thing was funny. And they did it without any, from what I can see, because again, like I was taught back in school by a really cool teacher. Shout out to Morris. Freaking that, when you go back and watch things, like when you watch it like 2 or 3 times over, like you catch things that you might have missed the first time you watched it through. And I really don't think there's any propaganda in that. And that's like a big, to me, that's like a big, just dope, because I feel like just in today's culture and just everything going on with everything, I think way too many things are getting injected. Things aren't just pieces of like art or just passion projects anymore. It's like everything's got an agenda. Everything's this. It's either way too extreme on the agenda, or it just flops because it's way too bland without wanting to offend anyone. It's just, this thing that this is just its own thing. It feels like like when I latched on to Madagascar as a kid, and I was actually telling my bro, I was like, I don't know if Madagascar had any weird political things thrown in there, or it was just literally an animal movie that was just it was a comedy, it was trying to be funny. I know Madagascar is in a lot of Madagascar is in a lot of people's hearts, and I felt like this was like speaking to that. I was like, okay, this right here, I would show to my kids for sure. I would show them every time and be like, come back to these messages, motherfuckers, because this is the one. But yeah, with that said, I'm done. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I've been talking for a minute, but it honestly deserves all the praise. I think it deserves, whatever its ratings right now on like IMDb are like 7. I think it deserves, if at least my final rating would be like a solid 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. And honestly, for where, from the angle it's coming from, I would give it a 9 out of 10, because I don't know exactly what I'm expecting more out of what this was. I would say like the only reason it would get an 8 from me is I want to see the storyline continue. I would watch a sequel if they literally followed the formula. The formula of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Let me see them moving up. Let me see Leo getting really old, because there's a big reveal, but I'm not gonna reveal it. So just I would watch the sequel, and everything y'all did felt right in the solid. If I'm rating it too high, solid 8.5. 8.5. No, it gets a 9. 8.5. No, it gets a 9. It gets a 9. For me, it hit all the marks. If I go back and that's going to be harsh. But if I go back and see some political jargon that was actually low-key stuffed on like one of the walls or some shit like that, nah, it gets a 7. But if I watch it back and there's none of that, man, the rating just might be a straight just 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, man, because it's good. It was good. Anyways, I'm out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace. Whew. So good. So good. Like, literally, I think if I were to sum up the video I just did, it's like newer, like Pixar needs to get on board, man. I feel like that beat some Disney stuff yeah, man, I'm standing on it. I'm standing on it. It was done well. No like obvious agendas in it. It was just a straight being what it is, with messages. Really good messages that really do still follow you throughout life. Like, you're never too old for the messages that were in this. Just be yourself. Be yourself, be strong, and we all got cards that we were dealt, man. Man. Good job on Adam Sandler and all that, man. That was great. That was great.